All right. All right, gentlemen. Here we go.
All right.
Welcome back to the Community Collective.
Yes.
Man, we are back, and it's been a minute.
It has.
But I'm excited about our special guest. Before we get into talking to Mr. Ken Elliot from Hilton Screeners, what's going on, my man? How you doing, Trav?
Oh, good. Things are good. You know, family life is busy.
You don't say.
And you know, you have double the kids that I do. So
I have a gaggle of children.
I know. So between sports and
yes,
just getting them other places, social things, and but yeah, it's nice. Work has slowed down a little bit because we got through property tax season,
right?
But we're still consistent with people coming in for other things.
Well, I'm busy. I'm busy as hell.
Oh,
so
yes.
I've got, the spring market has sprung. We saw a 60-degree day, the first 60-degree day of the year.
Yes.
Oh, it fed my soul. For, the sake of not being too inappropriate, I wanted to strip down and just go lay in the parking lot.
Well, I'm glad I wasn't hanging out with you that day.
That's okay. I probably would have kept my boxers on, but I was just like, I need all of this vitamin D. I'm dying without the sunshine these days.
And then we just came off an extremely successful Quarter Mania with the Chamber.
Ain't that the truth?
Man, talk about 250 people.
Yeah,
music. You were, emceeing it, and
I think the beauty of that event was people were able to tolerate me for 2 hours.
Yes,
my wife can't even do that.
No,
she hits 60 minutes. She's like, okay, go do something. Go play in the garage.
Well, and I'll say the nice part about it all too is that whole event is a big kickoff to the Chamber's High School Scholarship Fund.
Yes.
So the fact that people came to the event,
and
it jumpstarts that in the Chamber's investment in the community, which is what we want. But that was, talk about fun. I had like a fourth grade concert to go to in the middle of it.
Sure.
Which was kind of cool because at one point we had some glow sticks going on at the.
There you go.
Turn off the lights. I was like, in my head, I'm like, Johnny could have been made for this one.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Out there just doing a rave with all the fourth graders. That's my kind of party.
Oh, but this warm weather, I'm ready to be outside with you. We were already being light outside. We're going outside playing basketball.
Oh yeah.
We have 10 or 12 kids just running around our neighborhood doing things, which I like that.
It's absolutely beautiful. Well, why don't we take a second? Let's get to our guest, Mr. Ken Elliot. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great, guys. Good morning. Glad to be here.
Well, and we were talking prior to us hitting the record button here. So this is your first time having been on a podcast.
Yeah, this is all alien for me.
I like it.
I'm adverse to speaking to groups. This is cool because there's just a couple of us.
Yeah.
Right.
If somebody else is listening, that's okay.
Yeah, that's their problem.
But
right?
we're just kind of hanging out. If they want to follow along, that's great.
Absolutely. Well, and that's what we're looking to do is we're just looking to give you a platform to kind of tell us about all the amazing things you have going on in the community. You've been a staple in the community for decades.
Yes.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, we've been here a minute. Started up in 1982.
I know.
Made our first T-shirts for a event over in the park. It was called the International Pig Mud Wrestling Championships.
Oh my goodness!
And it was a Chamber of Commerce event.
Let's go.
Yes, we got to get
talking.
this.
It was hilarious. We made up 12 shirts. It took us all day. We read books because we couldn't just go someplace back then and have shirts made. There was nobody like what we do.
Sure.
So library had books, right?
Okay.
They still do, but we went up there and grabbed some books.
Yeah.
Brought them back to the Hilton house, which sat on the corner of Clark and Main Street, where everybody just kind of hung out. We called it the Hilton house.
Sure.
So
Okay.
the name translated to the T-shirts. And we made 12 T-shirts, and we wore them over to the park, and we wrestled pigs in the mud and had a great day, and people wanted to buy the T-shirts off our back.
No kidding.
Amazing.
So about a year went by. We stewed on it.
Yeah.
And came up with the idea, well, there might be an opportunity there because none of us really wanted jobs. There was some people in the community that we were working with, some other established young business people.
Yeah.
Saved up $236 worth of beer can returnables.
Awesome.
Even better.
Bought some ink and some screens, borrowed another few $100s to buy some T-shirts from another friend.
Sure.
We made 100 T-shirts, and we took them to the park that next year and sold them all in about 15 minutes.
Wow.
And so, a business was started, but then it only took us about another 3 or 4 months to sell that many T-shirts.
Sure.
And then it just,
So, but after that, we just stayed with it, and people moved on, and people stuck around, and here we are today, making t-shirts.
Well, and I think the most amazing part for me personally, when you look at that, is the longevity of the business.
Yes.
Because I mean, being in the Chamber of Commerce, we see businesses come and go constantly. There's always a churn. There's a lot of what I call wantrepreneurs out there. They want to own a business, but when you really dig into it, it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And I really empathize with the struggle of growth and going through those lean years and trying to understand how to innovate and stay relevant in the community.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the huge thing. Is just sticking with it, right? And
Right.
I'm passionate about it. It's the most frustrating thing I've ever done in my life. I
Yeah.
mean, I've coached,
Yeah.
I've done some different things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nothing is more frustrating than running my own business, but I wouldn't know what to do if I didn't wake up every morning being the t-shirt guy.
That's right.
I mean, I only work at it 120 hours a week or so. The other
Just a
time I
few.
kind of keep to myself, but
Yep.
it's humbling knowing that I'm waking up being the t-shirt guy every day and I get to go do
Yeah.
that. I get to see it start to finish. Somebody comes in with an idea. We get to put it together how it's going to work. We decorate the product. We give it back to the customer. We get to see their face. So it's not like we're just there doing the one thing. I get to see it front to back.
Yeah.
And that can be very satisfying.
Absolutely it can. Absolutely it can.
Well, and I think too,
go ahead.
I mean, and we're building into this part, your involvement in the community is amazing. And
Mhm.
I know you're
Well,
gonna
I live here.
you live here. So that's
My-
I think
my
the important
children
part
live
too.
here.
Yes.
My grandchildren live here. My parents lived here.
Yep.
And it was brought to me, if you want to have a great community, make it a great community.
Right. Engage.
Don't
Yes.
wait for somebody else to do it for you.
And I think that leads
You know
into
what
what
I mean? So
you want to bring up.
Yeah. So you wanted to debut an initiative that you've kind of been utilizing inside of the community and such, but you wanted to kind of bring a little bit more light to it. And this is a great opportunity. So why don't you give us a purview into what the Good Neighbor Team Initiative is all about and what you guys have
Okay.
going on?
Yep, absolutely. It's been in my mind for a while. Over the years, during last year, 2024, sometime during that year, I can't give you a date, but
Sure.
Hilton gave away their millionth dollar
Wow.
to local
cow.
charities,
is-
groups, and nonprofits. I mean, it took us 42 years,
But still,
but
that's a
we
huge
did it.
accomplishment and commitment.
And a lot of that money
Yeah.
goes to groups, nonprofits, other entities like that. Okay. And what I couldn't do with some certain rules with taxes and whatnot, what I'm allowed to do is I could not give individually to individuals.
Okay.
Groups are great. I know some people out there that just need a little help every now and then.
Sure.
Right.
And this allows me to offer that help. So we've been doing it kind of under the table anonymously for a while. Everybody's telling me I need to kind of bring it out into the light and bring it public that, I mean, we live in a great community.
We do.
And I've done some other initiatives with some other fundraisers for some different causes. And I've had people just jump in, both feet,
Sure.
help without asking.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I know there's people that want to help, and this allows us to maybe bring that to scale.
Okay.
I'd like to help on a larger scale. My parents kind of were huge helpers in the community. I was kind of brought up with the guys, if you're not sure what to do, look for somebody that needs help.
Yep.
Right.
The rest takes care of itself.
Well, then-
Absolutely it does.
So, like I say, I live here. This is my community. This is my town.
Right.
I claim it.
Yep.
When people ask, I run this town, Main Street, north to south. That's my block.
Yep.
Okay. So I feel responsible for that. This community's been great to me. My employees that live in this community enable me to do what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My children are now involved with me in the business, and that's very exciting because that's going to
Absolutely,
allow
it
me
is.
Well,
to
that is.
continue doing what we do. I mean, I've only been doing it for 40 years.
Right.
Retirement's not an option.
Yep.
I don't want to go there.
Right.
I wouldn't know what
I
to
don't-
do.
I
I wouldn't
think-
know what to do with all the free time.
I was gonna say I don't know if I've ever seen you just sit still this long that you've been here.
It would be.
So it's- yeah.
I would be detrimental. I've got to be doing something.
Yeah.
The more interesting it is,
So here's
the
the
more
question.
I'm into it. But with the Good Neighbor,
Yeah.
that allows me to bring it down to a more personal level. People out there need help with a car repair.
Yep.
I can help facilitate that.
Yep.
Through contacts that we have.
Yeah.
With different people in that industry that are willing to step in, let me buy some parts, put them on a car, get this person back to work without,
Right.
you know what I mean? I'm embarrassed even talking about it right now because
Because it's not about you.
It's not. It's everybody around me that wants to help. I'm just helping to put it in the top of the funnel and let it come out the bottom of the funnel and help disperse it to those people that need it.
You're
Yeah.
just bringing that
There's
smile to
no
someone.
bias, and I say it's in our community. Hilton's community has grown. We service a wide area around us.
Right.
I know it's a shame. I know who in the community has cancer.
Yeah.
Because of the shirts that I make for their friends and family. I know who in the community has other issues or trying to do some different things by what I see and what I hear. And I feel a need to be involved in helping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want recognition. I don't need recognition. That's not it. I try to be humble.
What I think it's a lot of things that you do too, even through Hilton's, and now you're adding the Good Neighbor team, is your commitment to such a wide things, not only in Davison, but it's spreading. And I think I love that you have that passion, and your team does.
There's so much power in giving.
Yes, it is.
If you're having a bad day, give somebody something of your time, something that you know that they can't ever give back. That is the power of giving. You're never going to see. I see people filming, giving people stuff, and but why? But why take that person? That person didn't ask to be on your.
You don't need
thing.
clout.
No,
It's the personal satisfaction I get is amazing.
Well,
and it's what keeps me going.
Agreed. Well, and giving without the expectation of getting anything in return is probably one of the most valuable things we as humans can do to one another.
Right.
Whether it's giving money, whether it's giving time, whether it's giving effort, energy, whatever that is. So I love that.
Well, and it's just showing that people that are maybe having a hard time or difficulty, just showing them that someone cares can improve their self-worth and get them back on their feet a little bit, could really change how things go. I mean, my wife's a teacher, so you see a lot of kids that struggle sometimes, and it's just because their families are working hard, multiple jobs, and sometimes there's things they can't figure out. And so you get that little bit of care and giving to them, it does make a big difference.
Goes a long way.
I mean, if you can show somebody that you care, then it brings hope.
It does.
And if somebody can give a little hope in somebody's day, that's a pretty cool thing.
So if someone wants to learn more about the Good Neighbor team, what's the best way? I mean, stop in the Hiltons.
Yeah, I'll say right now, like I say, it's been very anonymous.
Yes.
I do have a social media page. The Good Neighbor team. Just been kind of sitting there, like I say. I really haven't done anything with it as far as this, but this is going to help me to share the message.
Yeah.
A little bit further. This opportunity throws itself at you when opportunity is needed, and this was a great opportunity to bring this to light.
Yeah.
Because I see a need. Everybody says, "Oh, you live in Davison. That's a pretty affluent community." Then again, I live in Davison, and I see my people, my friends, my community.
You spend time in the community, and you see,
I'm here. I don't have a social life.
Right.
If it wasn't for T-shirts, I probably wouldn't leave the house much.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I absolutely identify with that.
So what I see, I mean, we live in a great community.
We do.
And a lot of us do real well. I can't complain. My wife does a little bit. She says, "You're giving away too much money." And I tell her, "It's none of your business." It keeps me going in the morning. And, and when I say giving away too much money, I don't have any money to give away. So it's all okay. But with this here, the Good Neighbor team, it's been something I've been thinking about for a while.
Yeah.
It's something that I've been working with for a while. We've been making some anonymous donations and some different things happen for a little bit now.
Well,
but it's finally time now to go ahead and say, hey, who wants to help me help our community?
Right.
Help our friends.
Yeah.
Well,
people that may need it. You never know. I've needed it, and people have stood forth and helped me.
Yep.
Maybe when I didn't deserve it, even.
Yeah.
Right.
People have invested in me without me asking, and so that comes with an obligation.
Absolutely, it does.
And I feel obliged to at least give as much as I've been given back, and as much as I've been given, that's a whole lot. It's going to take me a long time.
Yep.
To give it all back.
Well, and it means a lot that you were ready to talk to us, and but it means a lot to Johnny and I.
Absolutely,
that you're willing to educate us, but share about your passion and your mission. in our community and surrounding areas too with the Good Neighbor team.
And I appreciate you guys letting me let me do this. I think it's it's very cool. But I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Well, and
but yes, having an outlet like this to help to share,
yeah,
is perfect. It lets people know kind of what we're trying to do, and how they can help.
Well, and we have such a loyal listener base because we're so focused on
there's more than
community.
just us then.
Yeah, just a few, and that's
we haven't talked metrics yet. But
yeah, we haven't yet.
I'm very comfortable with you guys.
I can get you all the details,
yes.
all our listener metrics. There's so much good that we can do in the community and initiatives like this that again are community focused.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
Some people want to help, they just don't know how,
right,
or where.
Yes.
Or have an outlet. This is a way that they can help in small increments, and when we mass our followings together, we can do great things.
100%. I love
it.
that. All right.
Well,
this has been great to talk about this initiative, and we have to have him back to probably get more deeply into it. I think that's really important, especially as we can get more exposure for the Good Neighbor team.
I agree.
But let's jump into some of these questions because we've got some good ones here. You've got some history in the community and in this business, this industry that I'm very interested in as well. So, Travis, why don't you kick us off with that first question?
Well, and I will say this. I mean, Ken, I know my whole family, and I'm sure Johnny's too, is decked out in Hilton's attire, whether it's a dirt shirt or...
That's a great jacket you've got on, by the way.
Say,
very stylish.
It was good timing.
Very stylish.
Very trendy.
Laundry got done. I was like, this is the one I got to wear today, right?
Of course.
Yeah, so, but you've mentioned... how you got started with, the 12 t-shirts and the event, but how has the company evolved over the years, and what key factors have contributed to that longevity and involvement in the community?
Yeah. Like I said, I've had people invest their time in me. They saw something that maybe I didn't see, I still don't see.
Yeah.
And a very smart person said to me one time, my grandfather, who was very successful doing what he was doing, said, to be successful in small business, you've got to be able to see around corners. And I wasn't sure what he meant. But it's taking the initiative to try to look into the future. Everybody's involved with what's happening now.
Right.
Yes.
I have people that count on me to do what I do. So I take that responsibility seriously, to take care of those people.
Sure.
And those expectations that they have. I have, so I look at where we're trending, and I try to stay ahead of what I think might be next.
Okay.
And sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. With the information I've been able to find, the resources that have been able to track down, we've been able to kind of stay ahead of the curve with decoration trends.
Yep.
Being cost effective, being one of the first into the multicolor. What do I want to say? I've lost my words here.
Is it almost kind of like
it's the sublimated, it's the printing that we were able to do, where we kind of took an idea that other people had, brought a new idea to it, and were able to kind of almost invent a new decoration trend.
Right.
We were able to do some different things with some products that hadn't been tried before, because I'm not from this industry. There's no school you go to that says screen printing
this
university,
is how you do this.
T-shirt university. All right. I'm from corporate America.
There's no book that says
working with the
T-shirts
board
for
of
dummies.
directors.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
it's
This is new, this whole thing where, but we were able to do some things by not knowing. That we weren't supposed to be able to do those things, because people said you can't do that. But
small business makes you.
We had already done it when people were telling me we couldn't do it, and so it let me know
pushes
that
you more.
And having employees that were naive enough to believe that everything was going to be okay. I mean, we've been through some times. I mean, you can't in 40 plus. You go through some times.
Yep.
And like I say, the people that I have working with me, they don't work for me. They work with me. We all work together. We're a team. So I find a team gets more done than anybody, single leader directing.
Right.
Be part of the solution. And so it's allowed us to do some things that people said couldn't be done. And I take that as a personal challenge. When I was younger, people said I would never be able to do some things that I did athletically. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
But we were able to do some things, and so I just kind of take that to light.
Yeah.
So if you
Well,
guys tell me here that this will never work, guess what?
Right.
You know, I'm on the David Letterman show next week, and we got this thing going.
oh
like,
man,
so
Yeah.
yeah.
let's bring
It's-
back Dave. I'm sorry, I just dated myself. I'm not even sure who.
Oh no, I remember.
I'm in
I
bed
don't
by
know
I'm in
either.
bed by 9 o'clock nowadays, so I'm not sure what's late night
Oh no,
TV
it
anymore.
is.
So
I will say though, I like that your focus on team over the years. It's we work together,
Mhm.
and I like that too because I'm sure some of your ideas have come from other team members too, and you guys
I
working together. And
solution-based thinking.
It
That
i-
was another thing my
yes.
grandpa said. People have problems. There's a solution. So I instill in my employees. I help me identify the problems, but help me identify a solution
Right.
for that issue. And
Don't just come to me to
you'd be
complain.
surprised
Yes.
how much they know about what we do
Yeah.
until you ask them. They see it every day, and they're doing it.
Yeah.
So why not have them be into
Right.
the solution? I don't care where the solution comes from.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
care.
Right. There's no there's no ego.
It matters not to me. We all
Right.
share.
Right.
Right.
I'm not my highest paid employee. I'm my fourth highest paid employee.
Really. That's
It's not
great.
it's not my bag. I don't do what I do for the money. I do what I do because I enjoy it.
You enjoy it.
So that helps a lot. I'm the richest man on Main Street because I enjoy what I do.
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't feel like work if you enjoy doing what you're doing.
We're making
Exactly.
t-shirts.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're solving world problems one cool t-shirt at a time.
I like it.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Absolutely. All right. So as we get into the next question here, with almost 50 years of experience in screen printing and sublimation and all these different things that you do, what are some of the most significant changes you've seen from those first 12 shirts in 1982 to what you're doing now in Q1, Q2 of 2025?
Just the efficiency of stuff. What used to take days or even weeks
Sure.
now takes hours.
Wow. Yeah.
Right now we're in the middle of a huge rush of St. Patrick's Day season.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
We do a lot of marketing
Okay.
to bars, restaurants that have
Mhm.
large St. Patrick's Day parties.
Yeah.
In past years, I don't have the numbers this year, but past years we've shipped to over 20 states.
Wow.
St. Patrick's Day shirts. So
Wow.
we do a broad marketing with that.
Yep.
And in that process, even though we had planned ahead and had everything pre-lined up, it still took 5 to 6 days to get orders out.
Sure.
Currently, we're accepting orders in the morning before noon, and we're shipping them at 4 o'clock that afternoon.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Wow.
So just
That
the
is-
efficiency of what we've been able to do. It's like from the dinosaurs to the spacemen is what we've seen happen in 4 years. What used
Sure.
to take forever and was a hard process, very many steps.
Yep.
Now with the advent of the digital age and a little bit of AI.
Yep.
And some processes that were thought through that, once again, looking around corners, we saw coming.
Yeah.
So we were the first in the area to invest in multicolored simulated process.
Okay.
Which allowed us to replicate like your computer screen image on a t-shirt
Wow.
using a
Yeah.
simulated process of colors.
Okay.
One of the first in the area to do it. Now there's a lot of people doing it. We're one of the first in the area for the direct-to-garment industry,
Right.
which took an image and put it directly into the garment. Not very cost-effective, not very production efficient,
Sure.
but it filled gaps during COVID, which another process could not fill. And looking around another corner, we saw the advent of digital films coming.
Yep.
We actually used some of our old machinery to use this technique before this technique was deemed even feasible, and ended up being one of the first in the state of Michigan to have this ability to decorate and pull
Yeah.
images digitally
Really?
and decorate basically on demand
Wow.
out of our showroom.
Okay.
For some of our customers, yesterday we had a young lady come in, needed a Kersley shirt, heading to the swimming championships, needed a swimming and diving shirt.
Yeah.
In about 7 minutes, she left the store with her shirt hot in a bag and
Wow.
ready to go.
Wow. That is amazing.
Didn't have it on a shelf, but we just had that capabilities of we could make that happen. So I like to say we do the impossible every day. I'm not saying that I can do that for everybody.
Sure.
Yeah.
All the 7 planets aligned,
Right.
along with everything in our timeline, and there was that free moment where we could make it happen.
To make it happen.
So what used to take 2 to 4 weeks
Right.
was narrowed down to your standard 2-week lead time for screen printing. And if something sits around my shop more than a couple of days, we get antsy.
Sure.
So the quick turnover that we see, it's the on-demand
Okay.
that people that they see from the internet and different things. Amazon's been a big driver of that.
Yeah.
Order in the morning, have your food dropped on your porch in the afternoon. People just kind of expect those things to be available. So yeah, we do the impossible every day and try to meet those expectations, which allows me to keep doing what
you
we
love.
do. It gets me out of the house.
Right.
It lets me come talk to you guys.
Yeah.
So it allows me to do what we do. So trying to stay ahead of the curve. There's a lot of people in my industry in the area. They're not competition so much.
Yeah.
We just try to do what we do as best as we can.
Yep.
And we measure ourselves against ourselves. Because I like I say, there is no metric for, a screen printing shop. There's business metrics and some different things you can look at, but there's no place to go learn.
Right.
Well, we do. It kind of has to come together.
Well, and I think one of the most important points that you hit on that I would like to elaborate on is your ability to be proactive and innovate as opposed to being reactive when the rest of the industry's already done something and you're like, oh, we'll add that. That's not the case. For what you're telling us is that you're there trying to innovate. You're trying to create the processes. You want to do something different that hasn't been done that's going to help, whether it's your bottom line, whether it's efficiency, whether it's throughput, production, what have you. And I think that's so very important. And I commend you as a small business being able to do that.
Yeah. So you can't be afraid to fail.
Right.
Success comes out of failure.
Yes.
I've learned way more from everything that didn't work.
That
helped me formulate what works.
Yep.
If I'm batting 300, I'm an all-star.
That's a win.
You know what I mean? So everything doesn't work.
Well, I like that.
But everything needs to be looked at.
Well, I like
and I'm not afraid to try it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You never know where the next great thing's going to come from.
Right.
We're getting better at it. We might be batting 3 1/4.
There you go.
But we've moved up a little bit because we've been doing it now for a while. We've got, if you combine up all the experience in the shop, we're 200 years between all my employees.
Yes.
So
that's awesome.
That is amazing.
My newest employee's 2 years old. My oldest employee's 25 years old. We have a lot of employees that have been there 10, 15 years.
Right.
There's 14 of us.
Okay.
So I know what I'm good at.
Yeah.
And I know what they're great at.
Yeah.
And I let them go.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Trust them to do their jobs, and
we try to set it. We try to set a direction.
Yeah.
Which is then modified.
Yep.
Through questions.
Okay.
I ask a lot of questions.
It
pisses a lot of people off. I ask a lot of questions.
That's all right, though.
That's a good thing.
But
it
allows them to think and allows me to get the answers. If I know, I'm not going to ask.
Right.
Yeah.
But so it's just a matter of allowing them to input what they see. And if sometimes you don't ask, people won't sometimes come forward. My employees are getting better at, and have always been pretty good at, letting me know what's real. And I appreciate that. I know I can't do what I do with them. I'm good at a couple of things, and they're good at everything else. So.
Well, and I think from a management perspective, being an owner operator, somebody that's in the business and not just out from afar, gesticulating and saying, do this, you're understanding how to embrace that management style. And you don't know what you don't know.
So absolutely. And even some of the stuff isn't true, but that's okay too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, there's so many projects. I'm sure this is probably an impossible question to answer, but I'm going to put you on the spot. Is there a memorable project or a collaboration that you guys undertook that really resonated with you guys and had a great impact on the community? And I'm sure over 42 some odd years.
There's probably 3 that come to mind.
Okay.
The very first one, back 1989.
Okay.
Somebody had a grand idea of making a human flag for Davison's 100th Centennial.
Yeah.
Yes.
Didn't know how to do it. They thought about stretching banners across the field and stuff like that.
Yep.
And my brother at the time, being daring as he was, said, we can make that out of T-shirts.
Nice.
They said
popped up.
And they said what? And they said, we can make it out of T-shirts. We can sell white T-shirts, red T-shirts, and blue T-shirts, and we can make a flag on the football field.
Awesome.
So that kind of all came in fruition. This committee came together, and it all kind of came together like that. I wasn't as closely involved at that time, but it took about 2,000 or 3,000 people, I think, to make that flag, and it all kind of came together in a very short period of time, and it kind of put Hilton on the map as, we're here.
Yeah.
We want to be a part of this community.
Yeah.
So that was like 1989.
That kind of makes that picture more interesting now too.
Oh,
'cause
absolutely.
I never
it
thought about the
does.
shirts that they're all wearing.
And at the
So,
time, they were
yeah.
trying to say that, and the photograph is amazing. I've never really counted it. I know which star my family was
Yeah.
in the field, but there was a few thousand people on the football field to
Wow.
make that flag, and that was just an amazing time
Oh, yeah.
in
Yes.
Davison. Very, very proud to be a Davisonite.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
I think it is.
Davisonian?
Davisonian,
Boom, that's
Davisonite.
the
Yeah.
yearbook, but yeah, we'll go with that.
I like it. Johnny just put out the yearbook to look at that one. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And then as time goes by, I got more involved and was doing in running the business and whatnot. And this thing called COVID hit.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm sure people are familiar.
Yeah.
I hate even bringing it up. It's one of those things. But I wasn't sure what to do.
Right.
We closed down for 3 days and I about lost my mind.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I made myself relevant. As some of my customers were doing some of the school cleanings and some different things like that, and they were required to wear uniforms for security reasons.
Right.
Sure.
So we did a lot of that kind of stuff for our customer base, as they were deemed also necessary. So we kind of said, yeah, we're necessary too.
Yep.
But again, my team wanted to help.
Right.
So we came up with an idea. We made some Davison strong shirts. We made some Bobcat strong shirts. We made some Martian strong shirts. And we sold these shirts in this community online and off the front porch.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, we thought, what impact could this have? We thought we might be able to raise a few dollars.
Right.
Right.
2,000 shirts later, $25 a piece. We'd raised $50,000 that we had
Look
bought.
at that.
Gift cards, lunch cards, food cards, shopping cards, this kind of stuff. And then we gave them away to our first responders, our policemen in the areas that the money came from, the hospital, the nurses, the people up there, just to kind of keep my crew doing something.
Yep. Functioning.
And doing something that we thought had value and was important. And that it's, once again, giving us a huge satisfaction. So once again, we thought maybe a few $100s.
Right.
No, the community took over. The communities that we're in stepped up.
Yeah.
And did their thing, and we were able to do some pretty cool stuff for some pretty important people that were out there handling business when it was most dangerous.
Yeah.
And then there was another tragedy in Oxford. It kind of tears me up to even think about it. We came in that morning, and one of my employees said, "Boss man, we got to do something. People in Oxford are hurt."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, let's do something." So real quick, we came up with an idea. I had a few gold shirts around the shop, maybe less than 100. Put it on the social media. Half hour later, those shirts were all gone.
They were gone. Yeah.
So I took off, drove to Grand Rapids, picked up, 1,500 T-shirts.
Yeah.
Got back to Davison. Took about 4 hours to go to the warehouse and come back. When I got back, half of those were sold.
Wow.
By the end of the week, we had sold, once again, over 2,000 shirts. And my customers understood that we were involved in something else and their order may have to wait.
Yeah.
Right.
But cool, do what you guys are doing. We understand.
Yep.
And so once again, we were able to make a large donation of about $60,000 to the
Wow.
Forever Fund down in Oxford, just because we saw somebody that needed help. We thought, let's do 100 shirts. Maybe we can do something with that.
Right.
And again, the community took over, and we shipped shirts everywhere, to APOs, to all across the country, out of the country, because people saw and they wanted to help us.
Well, and it's community supporting communities, and I love that too.
I don't ever want to have to do that ever again.
No.
Agreed.
But it was an opportunity to help somebody that needed help. And so we did that.
Yep.
And like I say right now, it makes me emotional even thinking about it. It was a hard week.
That had to be.
Just because of the people that came to us with outpourings of gratitude and thanks, that it was like, oh my God, how humbling is this?
Yep.
To have people trust us with making this happen for them.
Yeah.
So.
No, and it's amazing. And again, you hit the nail right on the head. Communities helping communities. Just because we're in Davison doesn't mean we're just Davison exclusive.
Right.
We're here to help. If we're going to see a need that we can offer some aid, we're going to do it. And we're going to make it happen. So I commend you guys for that.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. Growing up, my parents were always involved. And one of their terms was be a good neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
That's kind of where the
Yeah,
comes from. I just want to be a good neighbor.
Yep.
I want to help. I want to be a good neighbor, and if everybody wants to be a good neighbor, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Amazing things happen. And I've seen that. I'm able to see that happen. And some people don't get to see that type of outpouring.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that feeling. Even right now, I'm pretty stirred up about it. But just being able to do those couple of things that we did, just because my employees thought it was necessary.
Yep.
And it was like, yeah, let's do this. And so once we start the pedals to the metal, and we're off.
I love that.
I love it.
I love that. Well, and kudos to you as being receptive to that instead of saying, "Oh, we're focused on production."
Our schedule was jammed, but it was one of those things
Yep.
that's like, they'll understand. And my customer base is amazing.
Yep.
I appreciate them more than they would probably understand.
Yeah.
Because they allow me to do what I do.
Right.
And maybe I need to share that more with them.
No, absolutely. I think that's fantastic. So as we move into the next question, as a business owner, and again, I'm the president for the Chamber of Commerce. Travis was our executive director, serves on the board. I'm working with the DDA as well. How do you see the local community support influencing small businesses? And what role do you guys see? Is there a need in the community for these small businesses? Which we know there is, but how can we really foster that relationship and keep people from heading to places like Amazon or these big box stores, and really embracing the community as a whole?
Everything you can buy on Amazon, or I shouldn't say everything, because there's some really weird stuff on Amazon.
Touche.
Most of the stuff that you can acquire online,
there you go.
Okay, from whichever retailer you choose,
sure,
is available in our community to purchase. And right now we're starting Little League season. I mean, the snow has just melted, but we're in the middle of Little League season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't see an Amazon or a Google or any of these people sponsoring our local teams.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's the people that are here that are doing that. And if we don't understand that they're here to serve our needs, and probably, I know for a fact, take better care of us than an online call-up service wills, because more times than not, you're dealing with somebody that's vested in that business. Owner, manager, family, something. Davison is owned by families.
Yes.
Right.
We have a few corporate entities in our thing, but they're responsible corporate entities, and they help.
Yes.
Our McDonald's, our Burger Kings, those franchisees, they throw in on the Little League stuff. But I don't see Amazons and Googles and these type of online retailers supporting our local communities.
And these people are owned by our neighbors, or our friends are working for them. And so we're seeing them around town. It's not just seeing them when they drop off a box at our house. We're going to see them frequently, or we know them really well, or our kids play together. Yes.
And like I say, community is important. I can't do what I do without a strong business climate.
Right.
It's about being a good neighbor.
People need to be confident in their community. I sell T-shirts, for gosh sake.
Right.
All right. It's the most unnecessary thing that somebody needs another one of.
Right.
But God bless them. All right.
Oh yeah.
They keep coming back, but it doesn't come with a strong sense of community, being a part of.
Well, I will say
everything they get from me, they can get someplace else.
I don't know, those dirt shirts.
To come.
Yeah, those dirt shirts though. My kids every week they expect them.
Yeah,
that's another fun thing that just kind of came out of a request.
Yeah,
from an employee at the time, which was my daughter. She says, Powers is making fun of us. This was 2021.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, 2001. Goodness. Okay. Yes, 2001. She says, Powers making fun of us. I said, well, shame on them. Yeah. So I made up this T-shirt that said, beat Powers.
Yeah.
No, there was no, social media or anything like that. And I hung one in the window.
Yeah.
And before the week was over, we had sold a handful of them. And the kids wore them to the game, and they came back the next week, wanted to know what we had for the next game.
One. Yes.
And so kind of a thing was started just out of a small request. They were making fun of us, Dad. What do we do?
Right.
I said, well, make a shirt that says beat Powers.
Yeah.
And oh my God. So I don't even know now, for like 24 football seasons.
Yeah.
How many thousands of these shirts?
Oh yeah.
I still see in quilts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And people made them into pillows.
Right.
They
And
do.
people still wear them as kind of like, oh yeah, I got the dirt shirt from,
Oh, yes.
2002 or whatever it is. And like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Right.
But
It's like a rite of passage
It
for
is.
seniors.
it's just what, yes, it's just one of those things. It's just kind of fun.
It is.
We've had other schools, air quote, try to copy us with,
Yeah.
Lapeer and Grand Blanc, which is funny because we also make those shirts.
We make those ones too, right? Yes.
So we're throwing shade at ourselves from different angles, but it's just kind of funny that they're like, oh yeah, okay,
Right.
they're playing Davison this week and we got to have
Yeah.
something.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's all in fun, it's all in jest.
It is.
Just kind of poking a little bit. The kids enjoy it. But it's great because I get to see people come back in my shop every week,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
say hi, grab their dirt shirt. We even know sometimes we'll have them like set aside.
Yeah.
They're ready
Like,
for 'em.
so-and-so will be in on Tuesday and
Yeah.
here's their
There you
shirts
go.
already, set over. So
Well, I've
it's just
even-
kind of neat. It helps bring the community to my store. Like I said earlier, I don't have a social life. I like to think that I
Right.
do, but if it wasn't for the industry I'm in, I wouldn't have a need to leave the house. So.
Right.
So now
But
when
it's
you're
fun.
here's a good question right here. When you're not making T-shirts, what do you do in your free time to relax a little bit? And
He just said he did 120 hours a week. This man has no
Oh,
free time.
every once in a
So,
while, I
got-
notice that he gets away and does some other things. But he's busy there too.
Yes, here's the thing. Once again, I've had some smart people guide me in this. You have to unplug. You
Okay.
have to take time to let the melon kind of cool off a little bit, or it's going to overload and it's going to explode. And so once again, I take that to heart because these people are very smart people. They're, and they're doing what they do. So I do have to disconnect. I can't do it local. I
Mhm.
can't sit in my backyard and not think about what's going on 4 blocks
next
away.
or what's going on. Yes.
So once again, I'm blessed. I'm able to make some different choices, and we get the heck out of Dodge.
Yep.
And I completely disconnect until people hear while I'm on vacation that I make T-shirts. Let it slip someplace at a bar or something
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh.
Next thing you know, the bar
great.
owner needs T-shirts. The band playing at the bar needs T-shirts. The other band that's waiting to go on needs T-shirts.
Yep.
So lo and behold, I'm sitting at a bar someplace on an island in the Caribbean selling T-shirts.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
and
this
that's
is
led to
great.
some great relationships and some
Yes.
different things that they've kind of come across. They said lead an extraordinary life. I took that to heart because you
Yeah.
only get one.
Yeah.
Do it. Make mistakes, move on. It's not huge.
Right.
All right. It's not going to cause the universe to end. So we're sitting down there. We've made some friends and we're doing some different things. And they found out that I coached a little bit of wrestling, so I kind of got the moniker coach.
Yep.
Yeah.
So a couple of buddies of mine down there, we got to hang out, and after years of just kind of hanging out, became close friends. As a coach, they wanted me to come help them with a little project that they had. So I got involved as the coach of the Virgin Islands curling team.
Curling with ice and
ice curling,
ice
sliding
curling
on
in the
the
Virgin
ice.
Islands. Yeah.
A lot of these guys that
That's
are on our
awesome.
curling team, the only place they've seen ice in their life is in a mixed drink.
Sure.
So
Yep,
there is no
makes
ice in
sense.
the Virgin Islands except it comes out of the ice machine. So kind of one of those things. It's an interesting story. Sitting at the bar like you would, under the palm trees. Old gentleman sits down at the end of the bar, and we're kind of laughing, and we start talking with him. His name's John Foster. Little history on John Foster is a 6-time Olympian.
Really?
Five times for sailing,
Okay.
and 1 time in 1988 for the 2-man bobsled.
Whoa.
Virgin Islands bobsled team. Yep, 4 years ahead of the Jamaicans.
That's awesome.
This is amazing.
Interesting connection is John on 23, 5-inch floppy disks.
Yeah.
Was the program on how to get your team into the Olympics. And he sent that to the Jamaicans by request, wanting to know how he did it. And so that was kind of where the Jamaicans got their little in. And John always says, if we would have had John Candy, we would have had the movie.
Sure.
But,
Right.
We're
Yeah.
not Jamaican. So he was at the end of the bar and was talking, and we kind of knew John and whatnot. And he says, I've been paying these dues to the World Curling Federation now since 1988, and we've never fielded a curling team.
Oh.
No kidding.
Light bulb comes on.
Start thinking.
Kevin and Tommy go, hey, let's have a curling team, and coach, you're going to be our coach. And it was kind of a normal progression because I'm also their beach tennis coach.
Okay.
That's a whole different story.
That's a whole different,
That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
So it kind of started right there, under the palm trees that, yes, we're going to do this. So yeah, we have a Virgin Islands curling team. I coach. I'm the treasurer of the organization.
No kidding.
So we also raise funds for those guys through the islands. But they have to come north to curl. We spend a lot of time in Denver.
Okay.
In North Carolina has been very, in Charlotte, the Charlotte Curling Club. Shout out to you guys. Leanne and the group. They came up and gave us free ice time because ice is expensive.
Oh, I'm sure.
So they gave us free ice time. They coached us. We'd never curled before. Are you kidding me?
Right.
So they gave us the whole lowdown on how to do it. So yes, now we have a very small membership, but we're growing.
That is amazing.
Wow. Now I'm excited about
we
this.
have a couple of people that may be going to the mixed doubles world championships or world qualifier in Serbia come May. So we're doing some international stuff.
Okay.
We're very terrible.
But you're having fun.
But you're having fun with it.
But yeah, we're getting better. And it's just kind of, one of those things that you never know what comes out of a situation. But so yeah, I have to get out of town to unplug, and that's what I do is I go become a coach and
You're doing it someplace
and sell
warm.
T-shirts and some different things. But once again, it's what I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's what I do. It's I don't know what else I would do.
Giving without the expectation of return.
No. But
and doing
like I say,
cool things.
Giving for me, giving is a huge gift
things.
to myself.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's kind of
I like that.
a little
Curling,
thing.
U.S. Virgin Islands.
Virgin Islands curling team. We've got Virgin Islands curling gear. USVIcurling.com.
I like it.
I'll put that link in the show notes so people can check it out.
I'm also going to check this out later today.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
So, but yes, that's one of our forms for helping to fund our habit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the next thing. You're so involved in so many things. The Good Neighbor team, Hilton Screeners, curling, all these things. And then you're constantly thinking forward. And you've shared kind of how you've innovated over the years. What are your aspirations for Hilton Screeners, and how do you plan to keep innovating that industry and being ahead of the game?
You kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if I had answers, we put it in a book and we wouldn't, but I don't know. It's just a matter of, I guess, wanting to,
Yeah.
the desire to, sometimes the need to. I need to be who I am. And it's so cool now. My kids are involved in the business. I mean, we've been doing now for 40 years. That helps to maybe get us another 30.
Yeah, get you the next one. And
doing what we're doing, whether the grandbabies want to get involved or not. They do spend a lot of time at the shop.
So they get T-shirts, I'm sure, too. Right?
Yes,
do.
They're in the whole design thing of my oldest granddaughter's 9, and is a talented artist. And we've taken some of her original works and have put them on some T-shirts and stuff for her and friends. But, so I guess it's enjoying what you're doing, seeing a need, whether somebody needs a T-shirt or not. I don't know, but what it allows us to do with the proceeds of that, as far as
hey,
that was kind of crazy.
Keep you on your toes.
So kind of lost my train there.
Well, I think the most important thing is you're willing to innovate based on the needs, based on your customers are asking for something. Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Try to have it before the customer knows they want it.
Yeah. Well, when your team
they weren't sure what
working-
they needed. Like I say, we've invested heavily in efficiencies, which allows us to speed up the normal timeline process. Which was a huge undertaking for everybody to understand. It took some software innovations because nothing's really designed to move that quickly in my industry.
Sure.
When you tell people, there's a few of us out there now that have adopted a similar strategy of the quick shipping.
Yep.
And they're out there doing their thing, but just nobody here locally has adopted those efficiencies.
Yeah.
As we have, because if it's possible, why the heck not?
Yeah.
And then if you can take that idea and expand on it a little bit, make the impossible possible. Now that's where innovation starts.
That's where it starts.
So
I love it.
If you're not going to try it, you're not going to get anywhere. Like I say, we might be batting 3 1/4, you know.
Mhm.
But that's awesome.
That's
you know.
great. Yeah.
That's
So
an
that-
absolute win percentage.
It
So
really
that's like
is.
I've only failed 5 times. I got to fail a couple more times. Then we start getting them hits.
Yeah.
You know
Then
what I
you do.
mean? So
Yep.
we know it's coming. You just can't stop trying, I
Yeah.
guess, is the thing. So you can't be afraid of failing because it's not the end. It's the
Yeah.
start of
You
something
just
else.
got to keep finding new ways. Yeah.
Well, and I
love
love your approach. Again, and that's the beauty of what small business is able to do.
Yes.
It's so simple to just look at a business from the outside. And it's funny. And we talk about this on the Community Collective After Dark. You know, everybody's like, oh, another restaurant, another business. Why don't we have one of these? Go start something. Go start something and then understand the nuances and the difficulties of operating those types of things day to day. And then again, and like when we talked to Jason Ford and Kent, you have a very similar philosophy. You embrace the community without expectation of anything in return, and the community is going to end up embracing you.
They do.
Because they feel that in their soul. There's authenticity to what you're doing.
It really is.
And it's not just a cash grab. It's not just, well, I did this for you. What are you going to do for me?
And
you're going to say, yeah, I'll help you out. What can I do?
And you're just doing it because you love it. And that's what I think I like seeing about that. There's so many business owners that don't sometimes, but when you have a passion for something and you want to go to work and just keep doing that, you know, the customers will come, but you're still going to be there having fun and with your team and being creative and making stuff that people like just because you love it.
And even that, I've got a basketball hoop in my showroom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's even more important. We can have a game of horse if we have to.
Yep.
You know what I mean? A disco ball in the printing area because sometimes you just have to dance. I mean,
yep.
We're all there. We're all trying to do the same thing.
Right.
Like I said, I've said it before. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at, and that's why I have 13 other people with me.
Yeah. Now, the road test is going to be when he gets a curling ice thing in the shop too for the team.
Well,
right?
we had that little tabletop.
Oh,
thing
so
there
they're trying
for some strategies.
Yes.
But that's a fun group, and the curling community is a very close knit.
Yeah.
Again, community, and our story has spread all the way into Europe. We've got one of our original pieces of merchandise, a sweatshirt, hanging in the Oslo Curling Center in Norway.
Really?
So yeah,
well,
we're going worldwide from just a small idea.
Yeah,
like let's do it. All of a sudden, yes, we're everywhere.
We're everywhere.
Well, and I think one of the most interesting things about curling is I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, me too.
I've watched it in the Olympics for years.
Yes.
You know, and with the Winter Olympics coming up, I was just talking with one of my buddies about that. When you watch these sports and you watch these athletes, and I don't care what you call them, they're athletes because they have spent so much time honing their skills that I absolutely love to watch it because there's little nuances in the way they've got their little brooms and they've got one slidey foot and one static foot and all the different things they do, and they're bouncing.
Their strategy.
But yes, the techniques involved in that, it's amazing. I mean, those guys are superior. You put a little dot on the ice, they can put their stone on top of that. But it's understanding the dynamics, the trigonometry and the geometry of stones colliding and the angles that those stones create to hit the second stone and the angles that those stones create to hit again.
It's all trigonometry.
It is. It's
See,
the math is tricky, but the way that these guys can formulate it so quickly, you watch them and you go, how do you just do that?
Right.
Yes.
You know, sometimes I have a hard enough time with just simple algebra, and you guys are doing advanced trigonometry here on the ice under a time clock while people are watching.
Crazy.
You know, and then the guy's 120 feet away on the other side, and he's got to throw a 9-inch round stone into a zone that might be a half an inch to make the shot work. And then with the sweeping, there is some dynamic there to make a stone curl more or not. But yes, they're athletes. They've done it for a while. They understand the sport.
Yeah.
And what you see on TV, go, I can do that.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
No.
No, you can't.
Right.
Oh,
I absolutely agree. And I think it's amazing that, again, I don't want to say you stumbled into it, but more so it kind of fell in your lap.
It was presented to us, and the guys needed help.
Yeah.
And once again, I was able to do some things that was able to help put it together. I have some knowledge on, some fundamentals on business formation and expansion and some stuff like that from doing what we do with some other things that I'm involved in. So I was able to use that knowledge to help these guys get a.
And it's a shoulder shrug that says, why the hell not?
Why not? Let's go with it.
It's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
Curling in the Virgin
absolutely-
Islands, yeah, sure. And the cool thing is we've built a following in the islands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some affluent people down there
Sure.
Okay.
that may be willing to help us actually achieve our goal of building a curling center
Yeah.
How cool.
south of
Watch
Key
it.
West, because there are none.
So cool.
Give it a few years. We'll see Kent at the Winter Olympics
Oh yeah.
coaching.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know about that.
Oh,
Like I say,
yes.
the people you see on TV, they are tremendously good.
Yeah.
We are really not very good at all.
Yeah.
You know, so we understand
still a newer
we
program.
understand our
Yeah.
position. And we understand why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, to be able to dream of the Olympics is kind of amazing.
Kind of
but,
fun, yeah.
You know,
It
we're
is.
just trying to build an organization with the future. You know what I mean? It's not for us; it's for the next people. I don't do Hilton Screeners for us. My kids are in it, dude, and I'm happy as
Yeah.
punch about that.
Yep.
Well, and I love that you shared not only how you somewhat relax in that Caribbean area,
Yeah.
but your passion for shirts, but then learning something new about the Good Neighbor team.
Yeah.
I think that's what the ultimate thing I'm coming away from is the excitement and passion that you and your team and your family have just for our
Yep.
community and the surrounding areas. That's what I think our podcast episode's about is
Yeah.
just caring
Yep.
about each other.
Well, and I think what we'll do is we'll figure out a way to make sure that we link all of that
Yes.
in the show notes as well, so that we highly encourage all of our community to check that out. Neighboring communities,
Yes.
what have you. And let's start a movement that can spread. You know, we start local and then we can go global. And I think it's so important because people need help everywhere.
They do.
But if you start in your community, that's the most important part. And I
Yeah.
commend you for it. I absolutely do. It's so very important, and it is absolutely a need in every community across this nation, across the planet.
No, so yeah, be a
Yeah.
good neighbor.
Be a good
Hey,
neighbor.
be a good neighbor.
Be a good neighbor.
It's that simple.
Yep.
And then Johnny, Kent had an idea for our giveaway.
Yeah. So why
They're doing-
don't you give us, so all of our guests that come
Yeah.
on, you know, there's no charge for coming on the podcast,
There's
but
not.
we'd like to again engage with our listeners as well.
Mhm.
So you did bring a few things today. So why don't you elaborate on how we're going to work that for this week's giveaway?
Okay. Is what we've got going on is we're like I say, we're bringing Good Neighbor, the Good Neighbor team in out of the shadows.
Yep.
And for those people that would like to help, Hilton Screeners is making up some sweatshirts that we're offering. And for the first 5 people that come in and make a Good Neighbor purchase, 100% of which is donated to the Good Neighbor team
Wow.
for community
Yes.
use,
Yeah.
we'll receive a $25 Hilton showroom certificate.
I love it.
Fantastic.
So you come spend 50, I give you 25 back, you get the sweatshirt and a discount on your next purchase.
You're helping your neighbors,
Oh,
and then you're also going to come away with some pretty cool Davison swag, I
And
should
the
say.
cool thing is when you see
Yeah.
somebody out in your community wearing a Good Neighbor t-shirt, you kind of give them the thumbs
Oh,
up,
yeah.
knowing
Yeah.
that,
I like it.
that they care.
yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So kind of they can help identify as a group, as a team.
And it brings the community
It
together.
does.
I
love
I hope so.
So
I truly hope so.
Oh, well,
visit-
I'm going to make sure the $25 gift card goes to somebody else or to the next person, but I'll be in there grabbing a sweatshirt or a
think-
t-shirt as soon as possible. I absolutely love that.
go get your
idea.
Good Neighbor sweatshirt, Good Neighbor team sweatshirt
Yep.
at Hilton's. Make a donation.
I love that. I love that. Well, Kent, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for coming on
Oh,
today.
It's-
This was actually
amazing.
a lot of fun. I was really
was.
nervous
Oh,
Sure.
at 8:30 this morning trying to mix my coffee and stuff. And then
it's
I pulled in the parking lot and I said, okay, deep breath, let's go do this. I've been in stranger situations.
Same.
I mean,
Same.
you know what?
I've wrestled in front of 15,000 people
Right.
before and didn't think twice about it. But,
Right.
but
Yep.
talking to you two guys, I was kind of a nervous wreck
You're
here this
natural.
morning. But yes,
I
thank
like
you.
it.
No, it
I
was
appreciate that, Travis. It's you guys are very easy to work with.
It was, well, and it's so good. Again, and this is why Travis and I love podcasting so much, is it's these long form conversations. It really allows us to dig into the reasons behind why you do what you do. This isn't a money grab. I'm not trying to increase my profit margins. Of course, I've got to make money. I'm a small business owner.
You
But
do.
at the end of the day, you know, pardon my French, but you give a shit about your community. And that's super important. And I think that resonates deeply with me.
It does.
As somebody that
Yeah.
understands the struggles and the challenges of being a business owner and a proprietor, to hear the passion that you have is just amazing. It gives me chills just thinking about it because it's so important to having a vital and vibrant community
Yes.
that engages. And we appreciate the heck out of you.
Yep. Something tells me sometimes in my head to do something.
Yep.
I don't question it.
Yep.
I just
Intuition.
kind of follow along, and like I say, it's led me to here.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty cool.
It is.
I don't have a reason.
Yep.
But here we are.
It's amazing to learn.
And I'm
everything.
lucky.
Yeah.
I'm blessed. I'm actually doing what I like to do.
Yeah. And that's
a
huge.
lot of people don't
they
have
don't.
that. And if you think you want that, find something that you're passionate about.
Yes.
Come see me. We'll help you monetize it. I know how to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're selling snow cones on the beach. We can help you figure that out. But find a passion and then chase after it. Don't be afraid to fail. You know what I mean? Out of failure comes great success.
Man, great advice.
This
Great
is.
advice. Well, for this week's episode of the Community Collective, I am Johnny Be Good, joined by my man,
Travis Howell.
We appreciate you guys, listeners. Thank you so much. Please stop into Hilton Screeners. Are the sweatshirts available right now?
It depends on when's this posting.
Oh.
Next couple of days, probably early next week.
Yeah.
If you say you put it out on Monday, I'll have my poop in a group. Yeah, I'll have it all together.
Perfect.
I love
it. So by the time this airs on this coming Monday, stop into Hilton, grab yourself a t-shirt. The first 5, you're getting $25 back to the Hilton showroom.
Yes.
All right. I am Johnny Be Good. We will see you guys soon. Thanks again for listening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks, guys. That was pretty cool.